Howdy folks, I think we're live. Sorry, I'm just messing around with my camera. Because for some reason... got messed up at some point. Should we just go to 500? All right, that's good enough. Hey Robert, how's it going? Yeah, so welcome to LiveStream number 12. I think maybe it's 13. I should know. Number 12. It's on the title of the stream. And today's going to be a short stream. I wanted to stream a day ago on Sunday, but was too tired. And then on Friday, I was also thinking about streaming, but then once again was too tired because I was presenting at a conference last week. Slash, I've been in the middle of a bunch of stuff. But definitely wanted to stream today, seeing as I skipped the last two times I was sort of thinking about it. I think I opened up an issue. And yes, for those of you that might be tuning in for the first time, we are porting the J-language source code from C to C++ 20. And we've been doing that over the last 11 live streams. And today we're going to be primarily doing code reviews. As you can see here, code review, code review, code review. And I guess I should start off, as we sometimes do, we look at the pull requests. So if we go to contributors and we go whoop. So this is based on commits. But if we go by deletions, which is the true metric, thank you to all that have been opening PRs. Herman, Juho, Robert, Herwin, Ahmed, and everybody. I guess we can go to PRs and just look at closed. So yeah, Robert, Herwin, Juho. It's been fantastic. I know I have been. Hey Joao, how's it going? Yeah, and feel free to say hi in the chat. And I'll give you a shout out or just say hi back. But yeah, we've been making slow progress over the last week, or I personally have been making slow progress. Everyone else has been submitting PRs. But as I mentioned, we're going to be just mostly doing code reviews today. If we get done all our code reviews in the next 60 minutes, maybe we'll do some actual coding. But yeah, I'm in the middle of preparing my next slide deck for my GTC talk, which is the GPU Technology Conference, which is in April. Technically, my slide deck was due yesterday, and I thought I'd be able to get it done. Problem is I spend too much time making my slides look pretty, and on top of that, I have another slide deck that I have to make by the end of the month. Anyways, lots of things to do, so yes, it'll be a shorter stream tonight. But let's first go to this fix. What happened to the fix? Oh yeah, someone pointed out, Herwin pointed out, that my APL code link on the starting page doesn't even work. Can you believe it? So yes, as someone pointed out, that is because APL is one index by default. So this is, I'm jumping ahead of myself for those that have not taken a look at these little examples. On the JSource main page, we have a bunch of different code snippet one-liners to calculate the first 10 odd numbers. And so J and APL are the first two examples. Both of these, what they are doing is generating the numbers 1 to 10, multiplying those numbers by 2, and then adding 1, which should give you 1, 3, 5, etc. if it's 0 index. J is 0 index, so this works. APL by default is 1 indexed. So what we need to do is set quad IO to 0, and then if we rerun this, then we'll get 1 to 19, skipping every even number. So what are the suggestions? That's what Juho suggested. Yeah, so there's one suggestion, is to instead of adding 1, we can add -1. Another suggestion is to actually set quad IO to 0, then use a statement separator, then do this. That technically is cheating because it's not really a one-liner. It's a good suggestion though, like it's a valid suggestion. So yeah, the alternatives are, if we're keeping quad IO, or we could technically just add a comment that says use 0 indexing. Maybe that's actually what we should do. Yeah, I was going to say, so there's a couple things we can do. We can do the high minus, which is a -1, to disambiguate between this, which is a monadic operation which negates. So there's several languages that have that issue, like Lisp's. But in J, they use an underscore to denote minus, and in APO, they use a high minus because we've got Unicode. Another thing we could do is we could do 1 minus commute, which is the equivalent of doing this expression parenthesized -1. But we like to read right to left and avoid parentheses. So if we don't want to do high minus plus, because that's technically like -1 plus, we can do 1 minus commute, which is the equivalent of that. However, although these are cute, and I personally like this the best because the commute operator is the C combinator and the W combinator from combinatory logic, which I've talked about in past streams. It's overly complicated for beginners. And what I really think we should do is we should just copy and paste this. And we should edit this file. And we should just say, or should we leave the spaces? No, we shouldn't. And we need the comment, which is this little thing. I have no idea what this is called. This looks really messy because I'm all zoomed in right now. But if we preview changes, although I guess it doesn't syntax highlight, so you have no idea that this is a comment in APL. Azal is saying setting the IO is kind of like imports in C++ just to set up the environment. Well, I guess that's what's interesting. So what if we refresh this? Because I think what I did is I assumed that if I set quad IO to 0, oh, I see. This did not. I want a new try APL, not 1. So if we quad IO to 0, and then I do 1 plus 2 times IO to 10. So if you open this thing up, you zoom out a little bit, and you go to the save, and it says Alt-L will generate a shareable link in the URL bar for the line of code indicated. So that is somewhat frustrating because I'm pretty sure this is what I did, and I assumed it would save the state of quad IO. This is not working at all. Alt-L. It can just be added to the link. 1 line is required by the page. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to check right now. But Alt-L is not actually generating me anything. So what does this do? Link to expression in URL bar. Yeah. Well, this is epically failing. Try APL. Oh, okay. Interesting. So it was just hiding the context. Okay, so let's try what we were trying again. So let's hit right. Yeah. Quad IO 0. 1 plus 2 times iota 10. So now we go Alt L. So yeah, it does not save the quad IO. What if we do this? Ping. That does the same thing. Robert says, I kind of like going from -1 or the combinator version since you don't need to alter the state. Yeah, let's just do the -1. And if anyone from APL Dialog, you should fix this because this is irritating. Obviously, it's a bit more complicated to save the whole work session, but it shouldn't be too complicated to save quad IO. So yeah, if anyone from Dialog APL is watching this now or in the future, consider this a feature request. So yeah, let's just add the high minus because that's the least complicated version. Go back to this, zoom out a tiny bit, go back to edit. Go back to preview. Commit. We decided to go with. Oh yeah, and we actually need to update the link. Thanks for pointing this out. Close with comments, even though we need to come back here. Now we need to go Alt L, come back here, and let's do that one more time. All right, and now when we click this, we should get 1 to 10. Interesting. Ken, our resident, one of our resident J experts, although I believe both Ken and Bob don't like being referred to as experts, but our relative J experts, to us at least, saying that the comment is referred to as lamp, as it illuminates your code. Interesting. Let's add that to our, well, first let's pull down our changes. And now let's go to LiveStream lessons learned. Whoa! That's a bug. Code learning. Look at that. That's awful. And now we need to go figure out when the last live stream was. Your channel. The last one, look at this, meta. I'm live streaming a former live stream. This was March 5th. I feel like I actually changed that locally while I was making some changes, and then I got carried away and started to do something more, and then ended up throwing those changes away. And with the bathwater, I threw out the baby, aka the March 5th change. And this should also be number 11, shouldn't it? And this should be number 12. This should be, what is the date? 16th? It is indeed the 16th. So we learned, what did we learn? We learned that on one of these try EPL, copy paste, this is referred to as lamp because comments help illuminate your code. Cool. It's a neat trivia fact. So let's close this, let's close this, let's close this, let's close this. We've already closed this. That means we can check this off. Which one should we do first? So code reviews. Oh yeah, let's do this one because this will be fast. So for those of you that don't know, Robert opened this issue pointing out that my algorithm found, which was the Boolean version of find if, was actually just any of. And I was so sad that I didn't notice this, that I went and wrote a whole blog about it, and then I went and gave a lightning talk about that blog at the ACCU conference. So thank you to Robert for pointing this out. I had sort of implicitly mentioned this in my cheat sheet from before. But yeah, all of, any of, none of are just specializations of find if. So I made this little graphic that says always choose the one that's furthest away from the root if you can. And then Stefan T. Lawawade, who is he's the primary implementer of the Microsoft MSVC STL implementation. And it's rather cute that his initials are STL, so that's what he goes by on Reddit. Pointed out that is partitioned until, whoops, and is partitioned could both be added. So I added them to an updated graphic. Note that is partitioned until actually isn't a standard algorithm. Anyways, all of this to say thanks, Robert, for pointing this out. And we should go and change this. So let's do that. Control-Shift, found, : found. So this is actually just a it's just a variadic any of. Does that naming still make sense though? Because any of sort of refers to you're checking if any of the elements satisfy a predicate. In a variadic any of, you are checking if any of the zipped pairs or tuples of elements satisfy a n-ary predicate. Marvin is asking, what color theme is this? Oh, yeah. So this is, oh, yeah, we'll come back to found in a sec. Material theme. So yeah, if you just go to VS Code, you search for material, it's one of the most popular, what the heck? Material. Why is material theme? Is it not called material? I have it installed. Maybe it's only showing me ones that I don't have installed. I'm baffled. Let's just go to the internet. Material theme VS Code. Yeah, I don't know why it's not the first one. Although this looks wrong. 2,000 installs? This can't be right. Anyways, you might need to hunt for it a bit, but it's definitely material theme. The one that I use, because it comes with a bunch of different versions, I don't even actually know how to change it. Preferences, color theme. Oh yeah. Oh, so it looks like they've gone through some sort of rebranding thing, because it used to just be completely free. Yeah, so I think what's happened is this community material theme is now like a free version of what is probably there's like a free and a pro version, because this one, there's no way it only has 2,000 installs. It has hundreds of thousands, if not millions, because it's one of the most popular themes. Anyways, I usually use Ocean Dark, I think. Yeah, Ocean. And a thing that I recently changed that is probably made me more happier than it should. It is, if you go to your, that's not what I wanted. JSON. Yeah, if you go, so this is sort of a mismatch of stuff. But if you go and choose, if you set editor font weight to bold, it makes everything look so much nicer, in my opinion. And a super really nice alternative to material theme is Dracula. I personally am not a huge fan of Dracula, though. Let's go to Dracula. Yeah, Dracula. This one's really nice. Like, purple and pink are my favorite colors. Why do I not super like this, though? I think it's because of the white. I can't remember exactly why. Because I played with Dracula for a tiny bit. Yeah, and I wasn't as... Yeah, maybe that's it. It's a combination of the fact that it uses white for the majority of the text, and then also the background is a lot brighter than I would actually like for a dark theme. In fact, I think for material theme, ocean... Yeah, there's times actually. So like you can see that the main text is soft blue and then gray. And there are, I think on my non-workstation, I actually override the background color to like absolute black instead of this sort of dark blue. Anyways, we're wasting too much time talking about themes here. But it's a good question. Material or Dracula are the two best in my opinion. So Robert's saying when we get zip in 23, we can just any of zip when we're doing that. Yes, that's true. But for the moment, we don't have that. I think there's actually a zip paper that's now out. C++, ISO papers. Zip. There it is. Written by Tim Song. Thanks, Tim. And a couple things that are a little bit, I'm sure the committee's going to have much discussion. I think the ISO committee meeting for this is actually happening at the end of the month on March 30th or 29th in Library Evolution Working Group. But yes, let's pray that this gets in. But for the moment, we don't have that. So what are we going to do? I think, yeah, a variadic any of is just fine. So let's just rebrand. And actually, before we do this, let's switch our branches. So git status. Can I switch branches? All right, I'm already on dev. Perfect. And let's go back to our code then. Look for found. So I say we just call this, actually first we have to go make this change in, what? I think that's all we need to do, right? I can't remember. I think we've set up. So actually, because it's such a small change, let's just go do it directly. That looks out of date. Okay. Well, we won't be out of date here for sure. But yeah, we'll make sure. I must be on a branch. Oh, I guess you can only do that changes to the README. Okay, yeah, well, let's just go do this the proper way then. Check out, well, what are the branches that I have here? Git checkout dev. Git diff, so just renaming, that's fine. Git add, git rename down to any of. Oh man, is it called master? No, it's called main. Oh, I don't have SSH set up for this? Such a sad story. I will have to remedy that. Oh. What's the best way to do this? Git checkout main, git pull origin main, git checkout dev, git merge main. Oh, there's a conflict. All right, let's go fix that. So let's just keep incoming. Actually, right. We're pushing dev. So let's go back to here. Rename. All right. Hopefully this doesn't break stuff. We F5, we should have 2 issues. Hopefully we'll get to this pull request. So let's come back here. Check out main pull. So now I think if we try and build. Whoops. That will give us an error, which is what we expected. And now if we come here and we change this, it works. So yeah, we will wait to merge this because that should probably be the only coding that we're doing. So if we go back to our issues, which one did we close? This one, this one, this one. So we got 2 more. Let's do this one because it should be fast. So Herwin opened this, and it was just a small port. And yeah, I'm sort of conflicted. I think for now, well, definitely we want to call this file is empty if we're going to have it in its standalone file. But I believe what Juho is saying here is that so far, all of the verbs that we're porting, for the most part, correspond to an actual verb in J, except for actually the exception of rank. Rank doesn't correspond to a single verb. See, let's close this. What happened to the changes? But if you look at is empty is effectively checking if 0 is an element of, what is $sign? I thought $sign was shape. Let's go play around. What are we doing here? Console. So what if we do, we go iota 10. $sign gives us the shape, does it not? So why is 0 is empty? I guess that makes sense. It's checking if there's a 0 in... So that's the weird thing. So can we actually construct a matrix where it's like two-dimensional and one of the shapes, one of the dimensions is 0? So this is something that I think APLers make like a big deal about that I've never really fully understood, that like a lot of array libraries and quote-unquote array programming languages. So yeah, this didn't print anything. But if we set this like to empty matrix, and then we take the shape of empty matrix, like this is still like an thing. And we can actually do stuff. I'm not going to remember. What is transpose? Does anybody recall? Is that transpose? Yeah, so like you can transpose. So let's make this readable. Or let's make this readable for non-Jers. So transpose is equal to that, and then shape is equal to this. So if we go shape of the transpose of our empty matrix, we get the reverse of the shape of our empty matrix. Let's put that over there. So it's basically checking if, yeah, one of the dimensions of our shape is 0. So like in the common case, really you're just going to have like a vector of 0 elements. But in sort of less sensical cases, you can have like a 3-dimensional or an n-dimensional matrix where one or more of the dimensions are 0, and it maintains that shape. So this is an APL, the equivalent of, if I have iota 10, 5, 0, reshape, and we call this mat for matrix, I can go shape of mat, and that shows me 5, 0, and I can go the shape of my rotated matrix, and that gives me 0, 5. And if I want, so to check is empty is going to be 0 is a member of shape, except shape is row. So this actually makes sense. So this is going to register as a fork. Yeah, so this will be correct. So it'll apply row, which is shape, to our matrix, and then check does 0 is 0 member. So if we go is empty to mat, the answer will be true. And if we go is empty to 3, 3 shape iota 9, the answer will be 0 because 3, 3 shape iota 9 is 1 to 9. Anyway, so this is a tangent on talking about the fact that like this definitely is not a primitive verb in J. So does it deserve its own file? And I think for the time being, the simplest thing is to say yes, although already we have take underscore drop that sort of combines the two. But for now, let's just say okay, and it's easy enough to go refactor this. However, the first thing is that we definitely want this to have snake case. I feel like, what do J true and J false correspond to? Okay, this isn't helpful. Booleans represented as 0 and 1. I see. They're just like global arrays. I see. Okay, that's fine. We can leave that there for now. The other thing is that we want this to be changed to is empty. Other than that, looks good. Just a file rename slash function rename, and then we will. Is there a ship emoji? Haha, ship it. Except, is there a better ship emoji? Ship. Is there a boat? I sort of like the ship better. All right, 3 down, 1 to go. Yeah, and this is the main one. We've got 15 minutes left. It's all right. We can go a little bit over. So yeah, this was a huge, massive effort by Juho. So thank you to Juho. Yeah, so the main function doing the conversion work here is convert from to. Simple case is just use a simple copy. Another overload takes additional transformation function. Returns a std optional. That's super nice. Yeah, so let's just take a look. Conversions.cpp, GG. Yeah, he mentioned that, they mentioned that they added a template parameter to pointer to values. That's a-okay. We'll come back to this file in a sec. Oh, interesting. So we still have, so CVT stands for convert. And so it looks like we're still leaving CCTV. So this is just like the underlying work. So let's go just take a look at it all then. So we've, that's unfortunate that how come GitHub has not recognized that it's just a file rename with a bunch of extra work, of course. But let's zoom out a bit and let's do so what is this? It's 500, 600 lines. It was originally 700. So I wonder if actually what we should do, let's do that. Port conversions. So port conversions. Get fetch. Nice. Get. Ooh. So we're on Git. Git add. Git commit. Rename found to any of plus stuff. So what is the name of this branch? It's port conversions. Git checkout port conversions. And let's go to conversions.cpp. We'll review this locally. The individual commits. Oh, really? Yeah, I still think we can just do a general C++ code review here. I don't understand what this is for. Value if. Format doc. Why is this not aligned? Man, why does this happen? Format document with oh. There we go. So looks like you need to run line format. All right. Also, too, this irritates me. Why does VS Code do that sometimes? Transform from to transform. I feel like we should not be using single transform T. Also, too, where does Where does this function even get called? Oh, right. Would this all fit if we get rid of the braces? Yeah, I just leave it the way it is. Does this work? You can static cast without parentheses? That is extremely surprising. Static cast. Bool 142. How does this work then? Oh wait, Azal, are you Juho? You have a different... I had no idea. Because your name is completely different than your GitHub name. And they are in the macro definition. How many times does IMIN show up in the code base? 114? I feel like that should be a context for int or something like that, but we can leave it for now. Those look a little bit odd. Yeah, it does sort of bother me though. The formatting of this. Also, what is, so P, so this is just one giant lambda. Tolerantly. What do you mean by tolerantly? Do you mean tolerance? If tolerantly. Is tolerantly a word? Tolerantly. Tolerantly. It is a word. And what is FL? J round. So that's going to return a double. And I assume P is going to be a double. The comments are left over from the original code. Yeah, I think I'm trying to over optimize here. This is baby steps. So yeah, this looks fine. And I guess, yeah, the D is for double, so I would say, and these are all template specializations. Yeah, I would say, let's try to avoid the D macro. And I'm guessing that these are all macros as well. So yeah, maybe same goes for all of the others. Although arguably we could push that to a follow-up PR if we really, really wanted to. This is, you're not supposed to do this, right? How to compare C++ double to 0. Or are you? feel like in my first code base that I worked on, we had a coding guideline against doing this kind of stuff. So maybe it's fine. I'll just say is this okay? All right, we're clearly not going to get through this PR completely today, but we'll see if we can get to at least the halfway mark at the 300 lines. Return lambda. Yeah, same thing here. And what is inf? Of course they don't define it here. Epsilon is the term in C#. Yeah, I feel like there's just like a stud compare for doubles or something. Like stud equal for, yeah, stud numeric limits epsilon. But I feel like there's a convenience function. Yeah, that's what that's saying. But is there not? I'm very surprised if there's no standard function that does this. Yeah, this is in the Google gtest library. Yeah, stood f absolute less than or equal to. Interesting. All right, let's keep going. Whoops. Yeah. So this is what I'm going to give a talk about this in the future, but I need to have more industry clout before I do. This is what I call format-driven development. Because I think this sort of looks bad. But the key is to do something like this. This is less lines of code. I think it's more readable. Oh, I sort of messed this up, didn't I? I just wanted the lambda, not the rest of this stuff. This actually doesn't all fit on one line? Or it does fit on one line, but it doesn't want to have multiple braces. I wonder if this works. And then we come back here. See if you can do something like this. Note. Might not work. Yeah, it's unclear whether you also need the capture by value or by reference here. What is one line in APL is a std transform. Do we actually have a std negate? I feel like we have a std negate. We do have a std negate. Ooh, look at that. So pretty. I hate it when VS Code does that. Yeah, this looks fine for now. It can probably be cleaned up. This is probably an algorithm. But for now, I guess, yeah, now that we've stared at this for a little bit, let's go back to here. Because my guess is this is just sort of incremental. So this is really good work. Yeah, so this is really, really good. It's a vast improvement for sure. Setting P, setting P, setting P. Or returning JTVec. We can get rid of this assert. Yeah, this is one of my biggest pet peeves about C++ client format is that it can't format stuff like this. And then really, we can just do this. And then technically, isn't there like a fall through? What? I can't remember. I don't work with C++ 17, so I can't remember what the, or is it no fall through? Fall through, yeah. Oh, I have to put a semicolon at the end of it. I don't need fall through. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. So Robert's pointing out that the only time you need, or it's a good idea to use fall through, is when you actually have contents here, and then you want it to fall through. If they're just stacked, then it's fine. And I would actually even prefer this to be so a return statement here, and then why are we passing in P? It's sort of irritating that this P is then being reset. So actually this will start off as an immediately invoked lambda, but we can just turn it into a ternary expression. Because this is equivalent to return actually we can just do this. Delete, 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 delete. And now, because this immediately invoked lambda, it just has a ternary expression inside, we can do the same thing. And we don't need the return. Like that. All right, we're almost at line 200. That's where I think we'll call it. Nice. I feel like we can remove these two. I mean, technically, it's not. It's gonna end to more. It's gonna lead to more like seg faults in our end program, but that's fine. We don't really have a good story for returning errors right now, other than just like a cascade of return zeros all the way up the. Yeah, that's what this does. Return 0. It's a macro for that. Where's M? This is div mod, is it not? The floor of double divided by some number, and then your original number minus that times that. So yeah, this is Python built-in functions, div mod. Yeah. So in Python, let's open, do I have IPython? I do. Let's get rid of our background. So in Python, actually let's clear this. You can go div mod 42 divided by 10, and then it gives you the result of the division and then the result of the modulus. And because you have, it's in Python they call it a number of different things. I think specifically they call it iterable unpacking. But I mean, in most languages, this is just referred to as destructuring. In C++ 17, it's referred to structured bindings. That's what this is here. It's very rare that or at least I have not found div mods in the wild very often. But I've known about this function in Python. And I've always thought it was probably severely underutilized built-in function that probably comes up a lot of times and people just aren't aware that it exists. So my comment here will be, let's change, and now so we can change this to autoconst qr, and that's even, the q and the r almost give it away because it's quotient, I believe it's quotient and remainder. I could be wrong about the q. Div mod, and then this should be d and x base. And then put note, div mod doesn't exist. Yeah. Can you pretty please write it? Oh wait, does it exist? ldiv? No way. Whoa! Since when? C++ 11. Wait, does div actually holy shit. Or sorry, not I apologize for the the profanity. I had no idea. This is in cstd.lib. All right, well, all this time I've sort of quasi been jealous of so it does exist. Dope. Well, we can definitely add that to our lessons learned. Where did all right, we're not on that branch. Well, just remember that we got to go and add that to our lessons learned. From cstd.lib. That's dope. Because this just looks so clean. Because that's the thing. It's like I had to stare at this for a sec, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is. Let me just make sure. But then if you come across this, it's just, I don't know. For me, it's abundantly clear what's happening here. That's a good point, Robert, saying we could make a template version. The one is a C function, so it's a different version for each type. Yeah, so if this works, ship it. If not, yeah, maybe we have to do something a little extra And then, yeah, this is probably, once again, an algorithm, this kind of code where we're just setting up a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it could mess up the logic too, as you're saying. So yeah, give it a shot, see if it works. If it doesn't, then no big deal. I would also just, whenever you see an RZ, just feel free to delete it. Like what it results in is that if we make mistakes when we're using the console in the future, it's just going to crash, as opposed to like giving us some kind of rank error or something like that. But I'm fine with that. Like I said, the goal is to learn about the code base, not to replicate the exact functionality of before. Yeah, so this... Yeah. All right. I think that's what we're calling today because we're at the 90-minute mark. So yeah, I will probably if you Juho, if you comments. So first, this is fire. It's below our and once you do that, I'll find time off stream to work through, or maybe we'll do another live stream. I'm not sure if people find the code review portion of these live streams interesting or not. Because I know that you have another PR that's in draft that's working on sort of some follow-up changes to this. So yeah, that's good to go. So we edit first third, update comment, close issue. So let's go back here, or back here I should say. And then we want to go back to lessons learned. So what do we learn? We also learned that stood div and friends exist in C stood lib, which are analogs of Python's div mod. Did we learn anything else? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, stood negates. Although I sort of quasi knew that existed. Exists as a function object. All right, that seems good. Come back here, git status, git add, git commit. Whoop. This looks a bit messy. Update lessons learned. Git log. Yeah. come back here, come back here. Rename. All right, so let's close these tabs while we're waiting. And yeah, once again, thank you. Thank you to Robert for pointing out the found any of and for the PRs. Thank you to Juho. This is a massive PR and is going to be super helpful. I'll make sure that I find the time to review it over the next few days, or maybe we'll do another live stream because this is just basically code reviews. So yeah, let me know if you're super eager to see the follow-up PR to this or live stream for this, or I can just do it off stream, and then the next one will be back to actual C++ porting of code. With that said, I hope everyone has a fantastic evening, and I will see everybody in the next live stream, which will be, I'm not sure. Maybe it'll be Thursday. If not, it'll either be on the weekend or sometime next week. Hope everyone have a good one. Adios.